Dr. Alex Rivera yawned and stretched in his chair. The night shift at Luna Observatory was always quiet. Too quiet, sometimes. He gazed out the dome window at the stars above and Earth hanging in the distance, then turned back to his monitors. The computer beeped. Alex frowned and leaned forward. There it was again, that strange pattern of signals from deep space. He had noticed it 3 days ago, but now it was stronger. Computer, analyze signal pattern, Alex said, typing commands into his terminal. The results made no sense. The signals were too complex to be random space noise, but too irregular to match any known artificial pattern. They followed rules, but rules Alex couldn't understand. Alex picked up his comm unit. Director Clark, I think you should see this. 12 hours later, the small observatory conference room was packed with scientists and military personnel. Alex stood nervously at the front, pointing at the signal patterns displayed on the wall screen. As you can see, these signals follow mathematical patterns, but with variations that suggest intelligence rather than natural phenomena, he explained. They're coming from the Tau Ceti system, about 12 light-years away. Commander Olivia Warren, representative of the International Space Coalition, stood up. She was tall with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. Dr. Rivera, in your professional opinion, is this first contact? She asked. Alex swallowed hard. Yes, ma'am. I believe we're receiving communications from a non-human intelligence. The room erupted in excited chatter until Commander Warren raised her hand for silence. Then it's time to implement first contact protocol, she said firmly. We're sending an expedition. 3 months later, Alex stood on the bridge of the Starship Hyperion *, the most advanced vessel humans had ever built. He still couldn't believe he was here as Chief Science Officer. Through the view screen, he watched as Earth grew smaller behind them. Captain Jack Morris approached, his uniform crisp despite the long hours of launch preparations. Excited, Doctor. You're the reason we're all here. Alex nodded. Nervous too. What if they're hostile? That's why we have Nathan and his security team, Captain Morris said, nodding toward the muscular security chief checking systems at a nearby console. But our mission is peaceful contact. The first humans to meet an alien intelligence. If they're even still there, Sam Martinez added as he joined them. The ship's engineer was young but brilliant. Those signals took 12 years to reach us. The latest signals show they're still active, Alex replied. And they've changed, becoming more complex. Whatever sent them is still there. The journey to Tau Ceti took 4 months. Alex spent most of it studying the signals, which grew stronger each day. The patterns were beautiful, but made his head hurt when he tried to understand them. One morning, alarms blared throughout the ship. All senior staff to the bridge. Captain Morris's voice announced over the comms. Alex rushed to the bridge where the view screen showed something impossible. A massive ship, unlike any human design. It was shaped like a giant snowflake, with crystalline structures extending in all directions. We found the source of the signals, Lieutenant Maria Sanchez said from her station. But they've stopped transmitting. The vessel appears damaged, Nathan Kelly reported from security. No signs of weapons charging, but there are energy fluctuations throughout its structure. Life signs? Captain Morris asked. Diane Foster, the ship's doctor and psychologist, looked confused as she checked her readings. Something's alive in there, but these readings don't match any life patterns we know. Dr. Rivera, your thoughts? The captain asked. Alex stared at the alien ship, his heart racing. We need to get on board. Whatever sent those signals wanted to be found. Captain Morris nodded slowly. Prepare a boarding party. Dr. Rivera, Officer Kelly, and Engineer Martinez. Full environmental suits. We don't know what's waiting for us. As Alex prepared for the mission, he looked out a viewport at the mysterious vessel. After years of studying the stars and wondering if humans were alone, he was about to find the answer. What he couldn't know was how that answer would change humanity's understanding of itself forever. Alex checked his oxygen level one last time as the airlock door opened. His heart pounded in his chest. He stepped into the alien ship, followed by Nathan Kelly and Sam Martinez. "Stay close," Nathan said, his hand resting on his weapon. The security officer moved with careful steps, checking each corner before they proceeded. The inside of the alien vessel was beautiful. Crystalline structures lined the walls, glowing with soft blue light. The hallways curved in strange angles that made Alex feel slightly dizzy. "These materials aren't in our database," Sam said, scanning the walls with his device. "Some kind of living crystal that conducts both electricity and something else." They moved deeper into the ship. The air was breathable according to their suits, but cold and dry. The gravity felt slightly stronger than Earth normal. "Look," Alex pointed ahead. The hallway opened into a large circular room. In the center floated what looked like glowing crystal shards arranged in complex patterns. "Is that their technology?" Nathan asked. "I think," Alex said slowly, "that might be them." As if responding to his words, the crystal formation pulsed with light. A wave of energy swept through the room, making the human's hair stand on end. "My scanner is picking up electromagnetic pulses," Sam said. "It's like they're trying to." A sudden burst of light erupted from the crystal formation. Alex felt a strange pressure in his head, like something trying to push into his thoughts. "They're attempting contact," he gasped. The pressure increased, becoming painful. "But something's wrong." The crystal formation shuddered and several shards broke apart, falling to the floor where they dimmed. The pressure in Alex's head stopped. "It's retreating," Sam said. "I think we heard it somehow." They explored further and found more crystal formations throughout the ship. Some pulsed with steady light. Others were dim and broken. In one room, they found a formation that seemed more organized than the others. When they approached, the crystals emitted a series of light pulses. Sam's device translated them into sound patterns. "I think they're trying to communicate," Alex said. He pulled out a tablet and typed in a basic greeting. The tablet converted it to light pulses. The crystal formation responded with a chaotic burst of light. Then, to their surprise, words appeared on Alex's tablet. "Mind monsters. Dangerous. Stay away." Alex frowned. "Mind monsters. They mean us." He typed back, "We are humans. We come in peace." The response came quickly. "Humans. Mind monsters. Deceptive thoughts. Dangerous." The crystal formation trembled and several pieces fell away. "I think we're hurting them somehow," Sam said, backing away. They found more broken formations throughout the ship. In the central chamber, they discovered what appeared to be the main cluster, larger and more complex than the others. When they entered, the crystals pulsed rapidly. Alex's tablet filled with messages. "Minds that hide. Thoughts within thoughts. Monsters." "I think I understand," Alex said slowly. "They communicate by sharing all their thoughts openly. The concept of private thoughts scares them." Nathan looked skeptical. "They're afraid because we can think without broadcasting it." "More than that," Alex replied. "I think they're a hive mind. No concept of individual consciousness. To them, our separate minds might seem like a disease or deformity." The crystal formation pulsed again, and Alex's tablet displayed, "The axiom seek understanding. Human minds cause pain. Attempted link results in fragmentation. They call themselves the axiom," Alex told the others. "When they try to communicate with us the way they do with each other, something happens that hurts them." "We should get back to the ship," Nathan said. "Report what we found." As they turned to leave, the main crystal formation sent one last message. "Others coming. The Council must judge the mind monsters." Back on the Hyperion, Captain Morris called an emergency meeting after hearing their report. "Let me get this straight," he said. "These aliens, the Axiom, are scared of humans because we have private thoughts. It's more than that, Alex explained. They experience consciousness collectively. The human ability to think independently, to imagine, to conceal thoughts, it's completely alien to them. When they try to connect with our minds, it's like they experience madness. Dr. Diane Foster nodded thoughtfully. So to them, we're the monsters. Yes, Alex said, and according to their last message, they'd called others to judge us. The meeting room on the Hyperion was tense. Captain Morris paced back and forth while the rest of the crew sat quietly around the table. We need to understand them better before these others arrive, he said. Dr. Foster, what are your thoughts? Diane Foster, the ship's psychologist, placed her tablet on the table. I've been studying the communication records. The Axiom seem to operate as a single mind spread across many crystal bodies. They have no concept of keeping thoughts private. Like a hive of bees, Sam asked. More advanced, Diane replied. Imagine if every thought you had was instantly shared with everyone else. Now imagine meeting someone whose thoughts you can't access, someone who can think things without showing them. Alex nodded. To them, we're like people who can lie simply by existing. We need to find a way to communicate without hurting them, Captain Morris decided. Dr. Rivera, work with Dr. Foster to develop a safe contact method. Over the next 3 days, Alex and Diane worked non-stop in the lab. They studied the electromagnetic patterns the Axiom used to communicate and created a device to translate them. The problem isn't language, Alex explained to the captain. It's our minds themselves. When an axiom connects with another axiom, they share all thoughts completely. When they try to connect with us, they only get fragments, and the rest is hidden. It's like trying to see a whole picture, but only getting broken pieces. So how do we fix that? Captain Morris asked. Diane stepped forward. We don't try to change our minds. We find someone whose thought patterns might be less chaotic to them. She pointed to Lieutenant Maria Sanchez. Maria has practiced meditation for 15 years. Her thoughts are more ordered, more disciplined. She might be able to communicate with less risk to the axiom. Maria looked surprised. Me? Only if you're willing, Captain Morris said. We need to establish communication before their friends arrive. Maria agreed, and they prepared for the experiment. The team returned to the alien ship with Maria and a new communication device Sam had built. They entered the main chamber where the largest crystal formation waited. Remember your training, Diane told Maria. Keep your thoughts focused on simple images. Don't let your mind wander. Maria nodded and stepped forward. She sat cross-legged in front of the crystal formation and closed her eyes. Sam activated the device, which began sending pulses of light toward the axiom. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then the crystals began to glow softly. Maria's face tightened in concentration. Small beads of sweat formed on her forehead. Something's happening, she whispered. I can feel them, like a gentle touch in my mind. The crystal formation pulsed in a steady rhythm. Alex's tablet began displaying messages. The human mind is contained. Unusual, but communication possible. Alex smiled in excitement. It's working. They're not being hurt. Maria kept her eyes closed. They want to explain something about why they're afraid. The communication continued for 20 minutes. When it ended, Maria looked exhausted but unhurt. The crystal formation remained intact, its light steady. What did you learn? Captain Morris asked after they returned to the ship. Maria sat with a blanket around her shoulders, sipping hot tea. The axiom are part of a larger community of species. All of them communicate through complete mental transparency. They've never encountered a species like us before. Species with private thoughts. Nathan asked. Maria nodded. They call us deceptive thought architects. They believe we evolved this way because of our violent past. They think our ability to hide thoughts developed so we could better kill each other. That's not fair, Sam protested. But not entirely wrong, Diane said quietly. Our evolutionary history is filled with conflict and competition. There's more, Maria continued. The Axiom say humans have been quarantined from the wider galactic community. They consider us unpredictable and dangerous because they can't read our intentions. Quarantined. Captain Morris looked shocked. You mean they've known about us for some time? Maria nodded. They've been observing Earth for centuries. The signals we detected were a warning system that we had developed space travel. They never expected us to decode it and find them. Alex sank into his chair. So we're not making first contact. We're breaking quarantine. And now, Maria said, the Galactic Council is coming to decide what to do about us. The crew of the Hyperion waited anxiously for 3 days. They took turns communicating with the Axiom through Maria, learning more about the galactic community. Alex spent hours taking notes, amazed by what they discovered. On the morning of the 4th day, the ship's sensors detected 3 new vessels entering the area. Each looked different from the Axiom ship. One was perfectly spherical, another looked like a giant leaf, and the third resembled a cloud of colored smoke contained in a transparent bubble. The council representatives have arrived, Maria announced. She had become better at communicating with the Axiom and looked less tired after each session. Captain Morris called the senior crew to the bridge. We need to make a good impression. These aliens might decide the fate of our entire species. The Axiom say the council wishes to meet us, Maria said. They're setting up a neutral meeting space on their ship. A delegation was chosen. Captain Morris, Alex, Diane, Maria, and Nathan for security. They boarded the Axiom vessel and were led to a large chamber they hadn't seen before. The room was circular with 4 distinct sections, each designed differently. In one section floated a group of Axiom crystals. In another stood 3 perfect spheres that glowed with inner light. The third section contained plant-like beings with leaves that changed colors as they moved. In the last section hovered creatures made of what looked like colored smoke. The Galactic Council, Alex whispered in awe. The meeting began with each species introducing themselves through a central translator device. The spheres called themselves the Unified. The plant beings were the Verdant, and the smoke creatures were the Nebulous. Together with the Axiom, they formed the Galactic Council. We have monitored humans for centuries, the Unified representative said through the translator. Your kind is unique among intelligent species. What makes us so different? Captain Morris asked. All council species evolved from collective organisms, the Verdant explained. Our thoughts are naturally shared. Only humans evolved from individual organisms that developed large brains independently. The nebulous representative's smoke swirled in complex patterns. We cannot understand how your society functions. You hide thoughts from each other. You can think one thing and say another. This ability to deceive is disturbing. Alex stepped forward. But our private thoughts also give us creativity and innovation. Our differences make us stronger as a species. They also make you dangerous, the Axiom responded. Your history is filled with deception and violence. How can we trust beings who can hide their true intentions? Diane joined the conversation. Our private thoughts allowed us to develop complex social structures and moral systems. Yes, we can deceive, but we also created art, music, literature, expressions of our inner worlds. The council members communicated with each other through pulses of light, changing colors and energy waves. The humans could not understand their private discussion. Finally, the Unified representative addressed them again. We have decided to conduct tests to evaluate the human threat level. You will each undergo a mind scan. What does that involve? Nathan asked, his hand moving toward his weapon. You will be exposed to our consciousness, the Verdant explained. We will attempt to understand your thought patterns. Will it harm them like it harmed you? Alex asked the Axiom. Unknown, the Axiom replied. No human has ever been fully scanned before. Captain Morris stepped forward. I volunteer to go first. The captain sat in the center of the room. The representatives from each species sent energy pulses toward him. Morris's face contorted in discomfort, but he remained still. After several minutes, the scan ended. The captain looked drained but unharmed. "Fascinating and disturbing," the unified representative announced. "Your mind contains layers within layers, thoughts hidden even from yourself. Your species thinks in symbols and abstractions," the nebulous added. "You imagine things that do not exist. You can consider alternatives to reality," the verdant said. "Create scenarios that never happened. This is why humans are dangerous," the axiom concluded. "They can think of actions without taking them. They can imagine harming others without leaving evidence." Alex realized with growing concern that the very things humans valued about their minds, imagination, creativity, and private thought, were exactly what terrified the Council. "The question remains," the Unified stated. "What should be done about the human problem?" The Council chamber grew quiet. The 4 alien species communicated silently with each other through their various methods: light pulses, color changes, energy waves. The humans stood together, watching and waiting. Finally, the unified representative spoke. "We have reviewed the mind scan of your captain. The results are troubling." "What exactly troubles you?" Diane asked. "The human capacity for violence," the nebulous representative answered. "Its smoke forms swirling faster. In your captain's mind, we found memories of combat training. He knows 14 ways to disable an opponent with his bare hands." "But I have never used that knowledge except in defense," Captain Morris protested. "Yet you possess it," the verdant said. "All humans appear to have capacity for violence, even those who never act on it." Alex stepped forward. "The fact that we can imagine violence but choose peace is a strength, not a weakness. Our history shows our growth from violent beginnings to a more peaceful present." "A convenient claim," the axiom responded. "But our observations show humans still engage in conflicts. Your planet maintains weapons that could destroy your entire civilization." "We're not perfect," Nathan said, "but we're trying to be better." The unified representative floated closer. "It is not merely your capacity for violence that concerns us. It is your deceptive abilities. In your mind, Captain, we found memories of telling untruths. Lies." Captain Morris looked uncomfortable. "Sometimes humans say things that aren't literally true for many reasons: to protect feelings, to simplify complex ideas, to be polite." "This is exactly our concern," the verdant said. "Truth should be absolute. How can a society function when its members can hide their real thoughts?" Maria, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "I have communicated most with the axiom. May I explain something about humans?" The Council representatives indicated she could continue. "Humans evolved as individuals before we became a society," Maria explained. "Our private thoughts give us a sense of self. This mental privacy isn't just for deception. It's how we process the world, how we create, how we grow." The nebula swirled thoughtfully. "Yet this privacy also allows harmful actions to be planned in secret." "Yes," Maria admitted, "but it also allows kindness to be given freely, not from obligation. When a human helps another without being forced to, it means more." The Council members again communicated among themselves. The humans waited nervously. "We have made a decision," the Unified announced. "The human capacity for deceptive thought makes your species unpredictable and potentially dangerous to galactic stability." Alex felt his heart sink. "The quarantine of your solar system will continue," the verdant stated. "You will return to your planet with no memory of this encounter. Your ship's records will be erased." "You can't do that," Nathan protested, stepping forward. Several security drones appeared around the Council members. "Wait," Alex said, putting a hand on Nathan's arm. "Let's be calm. Council members, please give us a chance to show you there's more to humans than what you fear." "What could you possibly show us?" the axiom asked. "Let us demonstrate how our minds work in ways that benefit others," Alex suggested. "Our creativity, our ability to solve problems in unique ways, our capacity for empathy, despite our differences. The council seemed skeptical, but the unified representative floated forward. The final judgment has not been made. We will allow you 1 solar day to prepare a demonstration. Show us why humans with their dangerous minds should be trusted. Back on the Hyperion, the crew gathered to make a plan. They're going to wipe our memories and send us home, Sam said angrily after hearing what happened. We can't let that happen. We won't, Captain Morris assured him. We have 1 day to change their minds. But how? Diane asked. They're afraid of exactly what makes us human. Alex paced the room, thinking hard. Then that's what we need to show them. Not that we're like them, but that our differences, our individual minds, our creativity, even our capacity for deception, can be valuable. They seemed most disturbed by our ability to imagine violence without acting on it, Maria observed. And by Captain Morris's combat training, Nathan added. Alex suddenly stopped pacing. That's it. We need to show them that the same mental abilities they fear also allow us to solve problems they can't. How do we do that? Captain Morris asked. Alex smiled. We create a problem that can only be solved by thinking like a human. The crew of the Hyperion worked through the night. Alex and Diane studied everything they had learned about the council species. Sam and his engineering team built a special device based on Alex's design. Maria practiced controlling her thoughts for the demonstration. By morning, they were ready. The human delegation returned to the Axiom ship where the council waited. Have you prepared your demonstration? The unified representative asked. Yes, Alex replied. But first, we want to share something with you. Diane stepped forward with a small device. With your permission, we'd like to show you some human creations. Things we call art, music, and stories. The council members communicated briefly among themselves, then agreed. Diane activated the device, which projected images of Earth's greatest paintings, played beautiful music, and displayed poetry translated into light patterns the aliens could understand. These creations came from our private minds, Diane explained, from our ability to imagine things that don't exist. Our inner worlds give birth to beauty. The nebulous representative swirled thoughtfully. Your creations are interesting, but beautiful things don't erase the danger your minds present. We understand your concerns, Captain Morris said. So we've prepared a demonstration to show you how human minds can be valuable, not just dangerous. Alex stepped forward with Sam's device. This simulator will create a scenario for all of us to solve together. It will show how different kinds of thinking can work together. The simulator activated, creating a holographic display in the center of the chamber. It showed a complex star system with multiple planets and ships. Sam explained that it represented a fictional situation where resources needed to be shared among different species with conflicting needs. We'll each try to solve this problem, Alex said. First, we'll watch how you approach it. The council representatives studied the simulation. They discussed it among themselves, then offered a solution. The Unified proposed a system of equal distribution. The Verdant suggested organizing by efficiency. The Nebulous recommended following patterns from nature. The Axiom calculated the mathematically optimal solution. All their solutions were logical, fair, and completely predictable. Now watch how humans approach the same problem, Alex said. Captain Morris studied the simulation. He suggested an unexpected approach, trading resources in unusual combinations that seemed inefficient at first glance. Nathan proposed a security arrangement that anticipated potential conflicts. Diane suggested accounting for psychological needs of the species, not just their physical requirements. Your solutions are chaotic, the Verdant observed. They don't follow clear patterns. But look at the results, Alex pointed out. The simulation showed that the human solutions, while less orderly, actually produced better outcomes with fewer resources wasted. The humans had anticipated problems that hadn't even happened yet. This is because of our private minds, Alex explained. We think differently from each other. We debate internally. We consider unusual possibilities. Even our capacity for deception helps us predict how others might behave selfishly, so we can prevent it. The council members seemed intrigued, but still unconvinced. Words and simulations prove little, the axiom stated. You could be deceiving us even now. Sam stepped forward with another device. This is a neural interface we designed overnight. It doesn't expose all our thoughts like your mind scanning, but it lets you experience how we think without the shock of full exposure. It filters our thoughts into patterns you can understand, Maria added. I've used it with the axiom already. The unified representative approached cautiously. We will try your device. One by one, the council members connected to the interface. Their reactions were fascinating to watch. The unified pulsed with new light patterns. The verdant leaves changed to colors never seen before. The nebula swirled in complex new formations. When they finished, the council seemed genuinely surprised. Your minds are more complex than we understood, the unified admitted. There is creativity in your chaos. We still find your thought patterns disturbing, the axiom added. But perhaps there is value we did not see before. The nebulous representative floated closer. We will reconsider our judgment. But first, we must test you in a real situation, not a simulation. A loud alarm suddenly blared throughout the ship. The axiom crystals pulsed with urgent patterns. What's happening? Captain Morris asked. We are under attack, the unified announced. A hostile species has found us. They call themselves the Void Hunters, and they feed on consciousness itself. The chamber shook violently. Through the viewing ports, they saw 3 black ships approaching. They looked like sharp, jagged shadows moving through space. The Void Hunters attack communities of connected minds. The unified explained rapidly. They disrupt our thought patterns and feed on our confusion. As if on cue, the crystal formations of the axiom began to dim and flicker. The unified spheres wobbled erratically. The verdant leaves turned brown at the edges. The nebula started to disperse. What's happening to you? Alex asked with concern. They disrupt our connection, the axiom struggled to explain. Cannot coordinate, cannot think. Captain Morris turned to his crew. Back to the Hyperion. We need weapons. No, Alex said suddenly. This is our chance to show our value. The Void Hunters are attacking their connected consciousness, but our minds are individual. Understanding dawned on Nathan's face. We're immune to the attack. Exactly, Alex said. He turned to the council. Let us defend you. Tell us what to do. The unified representative flickered weakly. The central chamber generator must be protected. Go, Captain Morris ordered. Nathan, Sam, with me. Alex, stay here with Diane and Maria. Learn what you can. As the captain and his team raced to defend the generator, Alex asked the axiom more questions. Despite their weakened state, they explained that the Void Hunters used energy fields that disrupted collective thought patterns. Their connected minds couldn't adapt quickly enough. Our neural interface, Alex said suddenly. Sam's device. Could it shield your minds? Possibly. The axiom responded faintly. But needs modification. Sam was called back from the generator defense team. He worked quickly with Alex to modify the neural interface. While they worked, Nathan and Captain Morris used their weapons to hold off the Void Hunters who had boarded the ship. Their technology is advanced, but their tactics are simple, Nathan reported after pushing back a group of invaders. They're used to fighting enemies who can't think individually. Maria helped connect the modified interface to the axiom crystal formation. I think I understand. The Void Hunters expect all your decisions to be made collectively. They've never fought beings who can each think and act separately. Like fighting one mind with many bodies, Diane added, not many separate minds working together. Sam finished the modifications. This should shield the axiom's thought patterns by filtering them through a human-like neural structure. Their thoughts will appear random and unpredictable to the Void Hunters. They activated the device. The axiom crystals began to glow more steadily. "It works," the axiom said. "We can think again." Sam quickly made more interfaces for the other council species. As each one connected, they recovered from the Void Hunters' attack. Meanwhile, Captain Morris had developed an unusual battle strategy. Instead of coordinating a unified defense, he had each human crew member act independently, creating chaos and confusion for the Void Hunters who couldn't predict their movements. "They expect patterns," he explained to the council, "so we give them chaos." The Void Hunters, faced with opponents whose minds they couldn't disrupt and tactics they couldn't predict, began to retreat. The black ships pulled away from the axiom vessel. In the aftermath, the council gathered again. The humans stood before them, tired but proud. "You have demonstrated the value of your minds in action," the unified representative acknowledged. "What we feared as a weakness proved to be a strength. Your unpredictability, your individual thoughts," the Verdant added, "they saved us when our collective thinking was paralyzed. We still find your minds unsettling," the Nebulous admitted, "but we now see their worth." The axiom's crystals pulsed gently. "The quarantine of Earth will be lifted. Humans will be classified as a protected species, different but valuable to the galactic community." Captain Morris stepped forward. "And what about us? Will you still erase our memories?" The council members communicated briefly among themselves. "No," the Unified decided. "You will return to Earth with your knowledge intact. Tell your people to prepare. In time, we will make official contact." 2 weeks later, the Hyperion approached Earth. The crew gathered on the bridge, watching their home planet grow larger in the viewscreen. "But they respect us now," Captain Morris replied. "Our different minds, our creativity, our individuality." Diane smiled. "The very things that made us monsters to them saved them in the end." As Earth filled their view, Maria summed it up perfectly. "The human mind, our greatest weapon, our greatest gift, a monster unlike any other, but a beautiful one."